Good afternoon. Now, today I want to share with you a very special wine from an exceptionally special wine area. And I've got two wines to showcase today. We've got El Bombero, 14.5%, and Altogrado at 15%. Now, these are Spanish red wines, and they hail from a very little known region called Cariñena. And the nearest city is really Zaragoza. And both of these wines they're both Laithwaites wines. This one is $12.99. This one is $13.99. And they're both single varietals Garnacha. So what are we expecting here? Well, they're renowned for velvet smoothness, intense richness. They come from extremely old vines. Decanter magazine says that Cariñena is home to some of the best value wines in the world. And I truly believe that is so, and that's why I want to share these with you today. Now, these two are typical of the wines that we taste at my wine, cheese and sax events. And there'll be a lot more news on those soon. But the next one coming up is just north of Coventry in a little tiny delightful rural village at the Rugby Club of Kersley, and that's Friday, October the 13th. So no further ado, let's get El Bombero on the road. It's a very pleasant presentation. So these are corked. That's to say they have corks. I hope they're not actually corked. The number of corked wines that I find in a year is less than one. I would say the last time I had a corked wine was probably more than 5 years ago, and I do go through, upwards of 150 bottles, probably much nearer 200, maybe more than that in a year. So it's pretty good going. It's not really something to worry about unless it's Christmas. I'm going to pour a small amount into 3 different glasses because I've been finding recently that the shape of the glass makes a really big difference as to, the flavour profile and the nose of the wine. So I wouldn't expect a lot out of a glass like this, but I'm quite fond of using these glasses when I'm busy writing or working on websites. And I just want to quaff the wine and not really massively think about it. So I'm not getting a lot of nose, but I'm definitely getting a lot of spicy raspberry in this one. That's the chief fruit of Garnacha from this area. It's incredibly intense, rich, warming, spicy raspberry. Now, I can see a magnificent raspberry red, just the sort of colour and the texture you'd get from dark raspberries. This is a very rounded glass, and it's beautifully structured from Dartington crystal to really showcase a very good wine. I think it works particularly well with single varietals. Again, at this moment, I'm not getting a lot of nose, but in this glass, it's the texture that's really coming through. We're getting an incredibly well-balanced wine here. There's a tiny touch of tobacco in there and some violets. Now, with this wines, of this strength, You should be able, if you swirl the glass, to get some pretty good legs, which is the residue of the alcohol draining down the glass. And if it's a pretty big pattern and quite slow, that shows that it's very high alcohol. Now this gives me a totally different profile. I'm getting bursting white plum in here. And I'm getting some, a tiny bit of kind of black treacle toffee. I'm getting a lot on the nose. These shaped glasses are magnificent for the nose. There's sort of a narrowing funnel. Really throws the flavours and the aroma out. Well, the nose on that one is so massively intense. It's honestly like putting your head over a smoke fire. Hugely, hugely enjoyable wines. You know, get over to Laithwaites, for goodness sake, and buy yourself a case. Buy a case of each. Right, so that is a fantastic, fantastic wine. Absolutely 5 out of 5. Won't disappoint at all. It's probably going to be one of the fullest bodies wines you'll have enjoyed this year. It's going to go fantastically with venison, any type of game. Pheasant would be excellent, you know, a lamb shank or beef casserole. Absolutely beautiful with some really decent cheeses. So that you're getting a, you know, really dark residue there. That's his Vigna Altogrado 2021. They're both 2021. So how much difference in these two wines can I expect? Now this is just slightly richer at 15%. I'm getting superb flavour intensity here. This one was all big spicy raspberry and bursting white plum. This one has got much more, you know, dark bramble and even black currant. For such a mighty wine, you know, it's actually quite translucent. The colour is a bit darker. I would say it's tending towards currant. Superb, superb balance there. These are the kind of wines that make you wonder if you want to drink blends. You know, they're so absolutely superior in every nuance. So again, a fantastic, really big nose. I'm getting, you know, the sort of nose you'd get from a damp forest on an autumnal day. There's an absolute marriage in there of everything. I mean, these are fruit power driven reds without a doubt, but there's such a nice blend of the fruit with more sort of tobacco and forest bark, leather notes. There's not much leather in these sort of wines, but you know, there's just a backdrop of power in there. Magnificent. You can't possibly go wrong with these. Altogrado, El Bombero, superb. You can get these through my link from Laithwaites, and don't forget to book your tickets for my next wine event. We're going to be tasting 8 contrasting red and white wines and there'll be a mountain of cheese, and there'll be entertainment in the form of light comedy, saxophone and piano. My gosh, just a wooden whistle, but what power you get from that. So there you are. Bit of fish